They created a full suite of AI-generated images. Trump being arrested, Trump on trial, Trump breaking out of prison, Trump clashing violently with the police, and the list goes on. And in 2024, when Trump was convicted in the hush money case, Chinese users went even further, producing images of Trump in prison, wearing the classic orange jumpsuit, looking tired and defeated, a far cry from his usual swagger. This is the image many in China were waiting for. On April 2nd of this year, President Trump delivered a speech at the White House, officially declaring the day as Liberation Day. At the same time, he announced America's Declaration of Economic Independence, unveiling a globally impactful new policy, reciprocal tariffs. Trump's policy forced world leaders to come to the table, negotiating, compromising, and scrambling to avoid the blow of steep tariffs. But one country chose a different path. Instead of dialogue, it responded with loud, aggressive rhetoric and attempted to clash head-on with America's tariffs offense. That country, as we all know, is China. Although tensions were high, the US and China eventually reached a consensus during talks in Switzerland. Both sides agreed to lower tariffs to a mutually acceptable range and issued a joint statement announcing a temporary halt to the implementation of new tariff rates. But before the diplomatic breakthrough, while Beijing maintained a hardline stance and issued stern warnings, the Chinese public wasn't staying idle either. In lockstep with the government, Chinese netizens began producing a wave of AI-generated videos and animations mocking President Trump and satirizing his actions during his second term. The most well-known example, a video titled "The Song of MAGA," which has racked up over 1 million views on YouTube. Set to the tune of a Soviet-style military march, the video portrays President Trump and his top cabinet members as factory workers on an assembly line, dutifully piecing together parts like laborers in a propaganda reel. The message from Chinese creators was crystal clear: to mock Trump's core agenda of America first and made in the USA. The video uses old-school propaganda vibes, think Soviet marches and Mao-era imagery, to mock Trump's policies. It's basically saying that America first and bringing back factories is just outdated and extreme. Instead of showing Trump as a leader, they make him look like some kind of modern-day Stalin. These videos didn't go viral on YouTube. They spread like wildfire across Chinese platforms like TikTok and more. What we saw was a wave of collective outrage. Under the laughter and mockery, nationalism was heating up fast and loud. The truth is, attacking American politicians has long been a source of entertainment and influence for many in China. It's a way to cash in on nationalist sentiment and boost traffic, while also damaging America's global image. And when it comes to figures like Trump, tough on China and highly individualistic, there's no way Chinese netizens are going to let him off the hook. Since the second half of 2022, while generative AI exploded into the mainstream, Chinese netizens quickly found a new target: American politicians, especially Donald Trump. They created a full suite of AI-generated images. Trump being arrested, Trump on trial, Trump breaking out of prison, Trump clashing violently with the police, and the list goes on. And in 2024, when Trump was convicted in the hush money case, Chinese users went even further, producing images of Trump in prison, wearing the classic orange jumpsuit, looking tired and defeated, a far cry from his usual swagger. This is the image many in China were waiting for. And it's not just Trump. Nearly every major American political figure has been targeted by Chinese netizens using generative AI. Pelosi, Vance, Pompeo, Biden, Obama, Harris, Blinken, you name it. With realistic-looking AI images and fake but convincing captions or commentary, false information has been spreading rapidly across the Chinese internet. All of this happens with the silent approval of Chinese authorities, turning social media into a battlefield of narrative and manipulation. Beyond just damaging the reputation of individual politicians, Chinese actors are increasingly focused on undermining the legitimacy of America's political system itself. And in many cases, this kind of election interference isn't just grassroots, it's state-sponsored. During the 2024 US presidential election, the research group Grafika uncovered a Chinese government-linked influence campaign known as Spamouflage. This operation used thousands of fake accounts to impersonate US citizens and media outlets, spreading false narratives, attacking political figures, and injecting divisive content into the American discourse. These fake accounts often use American-sounding names and stolen profile photos to pose as real US users. They post political commentary, but not just any commentary. Their content focuses on highly sensitive and divisive issues like immigration, race, abortion, and drugs. The goal? To inflame tensions and deepen divisions within American society. They also leverage generative AI to create fake images and videos, making their posts look more realistic and believable. The more convincing the content appears, the more likely it is to be shared, spreading disinformation even further. The New York Times even reported that some Chinese-run fake accounts were posing as die-hard Trump supporters. They used identity tags like father, husband, and patriot to appear more relatable, all while reposting large volumes of MAGA content, mocking Joe Biden, and even sharing AI-generated images of him in a prison suit. According to analysis by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, the Chinese government has been building and maintaining these kinds of covered accounts networks for years, a tactic known as spamouflage or camouflage cyber armies. These accounts are used over long periods of time, and because they leave behind rich activity histories, they appear more legitimate. That makes them more likely to attract real users and much harder for researchers to detect. The Institute for Strategic Dialogue also highlighted a particularly telling case. In February 2024, a Chinese account on X gave itself an American-sounding name and tagged its profile with MAGA 2024. The account shared a video from RT, the Kremlin-controlled Russian media outlet, claiming that President Biden and the CIA had sent a neo-Nazi gang leader to fight in Ukraine. Now, on the surface, the account claimed to be a Trump supporter living in Los Angeles. But investigators found that the profile photo was actually taken from a Danish man's travel account. Even more suspicious, the account was registered 14 years ago, but didn't post anything until April 2023. In the past, these spamouflage accounts were clumsy and easy to spot. They followed each other in obvious patterns, reposted in multiple languages without context, and often shared identical content across different platforms. But now, they've evolved. They generate organic-looking traffic, engage with real users, and create the illusion of a natural, functioning online ecosystem. The Foundation for Defense of Democracies reported on a newly identified cluster of coordinated Chinese accounts. One of these accounts was linked to a Facebook page with around 3,000 followers titled War of Somethings. The report emphasized that China continues to experiment and adapt, even as Meta makes repeated efforts to shut down spamouflage activities. Founding father Benjamin Franklin once said that in life, only two things are certain: death and taxes. But today, you might need to add a third: being targeted by China's information warfare. China has been aggressively using the internet, now armed with generative AI, to shape the information battlefield and attack its political opponents. and no country feels the impact more directly than the United States. With cutting-edge technology and the backing of Chinese government, this new era of cognitive warfare is becoming even more dangerous, and America's position more difficult than ever, as more fake information and AI-generated images flood the internet. The number of people who believe them only grows. For China's government, this serves two purposes. Domestically, it helps suppress dissent, unify public opinion, and rally the people behind an anti-American stance. Internationally, though, it allows Chinese actors to discredit US politicians, chips away the American global reputation and soft power, and stoke division within American society, one post at a time. As long as China continues to score wins in this information war, the United States will find itself in an increasingly dangerous position. If America is consumed by internal chaos and division, unable to focus outward, China will seize the moment, forging new alliances, stepping into the void, and taking over the markets and resources once aligned with the United States. China's online attacks don't just target Trump or Biden, they target all Americans. We need to be aware of how these digital operations work, stay alert to the political motives behind them, and recognize propaganda when we see it. If we let fake news and AI-generated lies flood our feeds unchecked, we risk losing more than just an election. We risk losing the country itself. We are Oh My God. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.